and are hard for hitters to square up.
Emma Wright ready to go in the righty batter's box, right in the circle. And we are underway in Durham, North Carolina. This is a vaunted lineup for Virginia Tech under head coach Pete DeMoore, hitting .357 on the season. Ritter, Green, Fagan, Peck. Some of the best 4 hitters to lead off a lineup in the entire nation.
Yeah, that Corey McMillan, she is a player to watch. We highlight her in that lineup because she is the one that did the most damage yesterday.
Ritter swinging away, drives it deep center field, tracking. It is off of Jennings' glove and bounces off to the warning track and into third. Emma Ritter, a great start for the Hokies. It was Virginia Tech's suspect defense that kind of opened up the floodgates for Duke last night, and now it's a reversal of fortune here on a Friday.
Well, and you wonder if they were expecting to see Jayla Wright yesterday, because this at-bat right here shows that she was on time, ready to drive the ball, and as it gets to the wall, they square off with a runner at third to start off.
Officially a triple for Emma Ritter, and that brings up Addie Green, who is nothing for 3 with a strikeout in Game 1 last night. Green leads the ACC, tied for 12th in the country coming into the weekend with 12 doubles. 19 of her 41 hits have gone for extra bases this year. Little excuse me, bounding ball over to third, handled by Gold, and Tapia can't stay on the bag.
I tell you what, we knew coming into this that Duke had some Game 2 miscues, knowing that they dropped 1 game against Florida State and 1 game against Louisville, both of them Game 2. But this is a pretty easy play over to first base, but the throw pulls off the first baseman Tapia, and Virginia Tech now with runners on the corners.
I would have maybe expected head coach Marissa Young for Duke to possibly look at that. That was very close over at first base, whether Tapia kept her foot on the bag, and could be an important momentum play. This is back to right, goes home, and the tag is applied. It's almost like Ritter didn't even think that the throw possibly could come home. As she went in standing up, she is out number 1.
Jayla Wright has had some struggles with overhand throws in the past, so as she set her feet to throw first, it looked as though Emma Ritter expected her to continue with that throw. Jayla Wright, though, see here.
And the call is upheld by our home plate umpire, Jacob Agee. Yeah, when the ball was received by Freelick, she was on the first base side of home plate and then got it, and it looked like she applied the tag. Look where she catches it. It kind of takes her right into it.
And the throw can pull you into the front of the plate or the front of the bag where you are making the tag. You just have to make sure that your setup allows free access to the front of the plate before you receive the ball.
So 1 away, first and second now. Here is Bree Peck, and the cleanup hitter gets into that one. Deep right field, no doubt about it, and Virginia Tech on the board early with a 3-run shot by Peck.
Virginia Tech, 100 home runs last season. That right there, home run number 70 for the Hokies, and that's Bree Peck's 9th dinger. The drop ball, you know that Jayla Wright's gonna throw it. How do you attack it? You start low and finish high, and that's exactly what Bree Peck does. Gets low in the swing, allows the trajectory to throw that one deep, and it's got enough on it to not only put the Hokies on the board, but also give her another home run.
Jayla Wright has only given up 8 runs in 64 innings coming into this game. She has surrendered 3 through the first 1 out so far against Virginia Tech, and that is what the Hokies do and what they do best. Coming into this game, you mentioned hit 100 homers last year. If they play 59 games again, they're on pace for 127.
Well, you just look at how many hitters throughout the lineup have double-digit home runs. This is a team that loves to hit the long ball. But when you talk to the head coach, Pete Demore for Virginia Tech, he says, our goal is not to hit home runs. Our goal is to have quality at bats with swings that do damage. Everyone is hitting hard, though, this year, and they need to be more selective at the plate. That seems to be what the change they've made from yesterday to today.
And Corey McMillan up, who had a couple of homers herself last night, and bounds it foul. Pete Demore's message about hard hit ball percentage. Not worried about the swing plane. He's worried about how hard can we swing the bat. We swing it fast, we create hard hit grounders. Sometimes they'll go out of the park, and it does a lot of damage when it's all said and done.
Well, the two things that Coach Demore said he had for goals for his offense was to increase rotational velocity and also improve barrel accuracy. They found those deficiencies in their biomechanics and then attacked the weight room to be able to strengthen those deficiencies and be more successful at the plate.
McMillan couldn't hold up for the second out. Jenny, what does rotational velocity mean? What is Pete talking about there?
Well, you have to be able to be strong enough in your front leg to be able to stop the velocity that you create with your backside. So if you have a weak front side, you're not going to be able to push as much power through the swing. So you then would attack front side strength to be able to create a solid front side. If your backside's weak, you've got to create power through the grip and through the back leg to create that width through the back of the swing. I mean, there's so many different mechanics that go into being a successful hitter, but he brought on a new coach. Josh Johnson has come on this staff to be able to help out their hitters to find those biomechanical weaknesses, hit the weight room, make them strengths, and then put them into play in a game.
Michelle Chatfield rips it to center field, and it's over. A leaping Deanna Jennings. Solo shot, Chatfield. That is something she has capitalized on as just a freshman, her team-leading 15th of the year.
Chatfield is one of those hitters that I love to watch. Not only has she been able to be so good in her first campaign for the Hokies, but right here, it's a changeup. And from the dugout, you could hear the team telling her to sit back. They have obviously identified Jayla Wright's changeup, whether it's from grip or from a call from the dugout. They know when it's coming. They're tipping off their hitters. And Michelle Chatfield able to capitalize on a changeup from Jayla Wright.
Chatfield's OPS just going up by the moment. It was 1.347 coming into this game. That was fourth in the ACC. It is going to be even more, and an OPS of 1.347 is way, way above league average. I mean, that is absolutely raking. OPS, of course, on base percentage, plus slugging, which really measures, I would say, a really well-rounded form of how you do as a hitter.
Well, and if the dugout or one of the coaches has found a way to identify when a change of speed is coming from the circle, that's going to be more important for Virginia Tech than anything else, knowing that the drop ball and the changeup tunnel so well from right.
Well, we talked a lot of specifics so far here, Jenny, but just on its face, what a response by Virginia Tech in the top of the first inning.
Well, and yesterday when Lemley took the circle, you could tell that Duke had prepared for velocity. What we're seeing out of Virginia Tech is they were prepared for Jayla Wright.
This is just the first two-ball count of the game. Almost every pitch has been a strike so far here by Wright, but most of them cookies, and Virginia Tech has absolutely not missed so far.
Well, the key to making sure power hitters don't square up the ball is to be able to disrupt their timing. The problem that Jayla Wright is having, anytime she's throwing a changeup right now, there is a call from the dugout or maybe from the stands saying sit back, and that tips off the hitter to allow their weight to stay back and wait on contact.
Count runs full.
And ever since we've seen that home run off of a changeup, Jayla Wright has not thrown a changeup again. Because of that, that tells me she has lost faith that she can throw that one to the corners and keep these hitters off balance.
And the payoff to Luco, a swing and a miss. So a couple series opener. So this game is far from over as Giselle Tapia steps in, slotted up into the leadoff spot pretty recently. It was just back in the series finale at Louisville last weekend. She's been there now the last 3 games, followed by Davidson.
We've been used to seeing Deanna Jennings at the top of the lineup, but she's had some struggles by stepping out of the box, and so moving her down into that 9 spot gives her an opportunity to be a table setter, and Tapia more chances to get up to the plate and drive in runs.
Well, Tapia was 3 for 4 yesterday with 2 runs and an RBI. It was a real catalyst at that beginning of the order. Duke's 1 through 3 hitters yesterday, 7 for 10, 3 doubles, a homer, and 7 of those 14 runs driven in. Got her with the rise, 2-2.
Well, and Tapia was so good at laying off that rise early in the count. Fell prey to it there. If Duke is able to show some consistency on laying off that rise ball, they will be much better at attacking pitches lower in the zone because Grind will have to bring it down.
Grind, the hardest thrower on this staff. Throwing it harder this year than ever before, hitting 70 regularly. Did that in the 6th inning against Alabama last weekend. They split that quick 2-game set. A 1-run loss in the first, but really came back in that second against Patrick Murphy's Crimson Tide. And kind of a statement, this is a Virginia Tech team that's looking to win an ACC title, but they don't play some of the toughest teams in the conference. So their chances here after the game against Duke are just a little bit limited when you talk about the national scope and hosting and top 8 seed, that sort of thing. Tapia over towards second, handled by Fagan for out number 1, and that'll bring up Claire Davidson. Jenny did
Fairness and has added 100 points to her batting average this year.
Davidson yesterday 2 for 2. See that 2-run home run, also a double, sac fly, drove in 3. One thing that really started that Blue Devils attack yesterday, they came up 4 times, all 4 of their leadoff hitters reached. So a big out right there for Lindsey Grind just to keep Duke off of the base paths to begin the inning.
And when you talk about Claire Davidson at the plate this year, they move her up to the 2nd spot because of how good she's been, not just in average, but in power as well. She has 37 hits on the season. 26 of them have been for extra bases.
Two and two.
And just look at the comparison from year to year. Yeah, just in 21, didn't even hit a buck. I mean, and now she's up at 435. Couldn't even make $1.
2-2 got her.
And I think that's actually a pretty lucky break for Virginia Tech, knowing the kind of power that Claire Davidson can hit with. She did make a move to get out of the way. It was in the river, but Davidson able to wear it, put herself on first base, but I would much rather have her bat in the box.
1-on-1 out for Amina Vega, the number 3 hitter, All-ACC first teamer last year, was preseason All-Conference this season. One of the big improvements for her that we talked about with head coach Marissa Young before this series, cutting down on her strikeouts. She has gone from 26 last year to just 8. Better pitch selection, a real focus for her in the offseason.
Definitely focused on that pitch selection, but she made an immediate impact last season. She beat Gold's freshman home run record of 10 by putting up 12 long balls of her own. Speed, power, and a great leader at the plate.
Now down to the count of ball and 2 strikes. That rise has been deadly so far for Grind.
Anytime you have a big hitter in the box, they are looking for something elevated because that's the best way to get under a ball and drive it deep. The problem with being a power hitter against a rise ball pitcher, a lot of times you swing and miss because the ball looks so good at the letters.
3 swing and misses on 4 rise ball swings so far. 2-2 drilled. Center field, a look for Ritter, and that's it. With 1 swing of the bat from Amina Vega, Dukes cut the deficit in half.
Brings in 2 runs.
Amina Vega is second in RBI on this team because of that right there. She is able to do damage with that swing. That's her 6th home run of the season, the team's 32nd long ball of the year, and that right there is right down Main Street. If you don't swing at that, there is something wrong with you because that pitch was left so big and she knew it off the crack of the bat.
What a feeling after Duke falls behind 4-0 after the top of the first to just get 2 back immediately and still only 1 out here in the first for Anna Gold. We thought maybe this series, Jenny, was going to be a bit of a pitcher's duel. I mean, you've got pitchers like Jayla Wright, Cassidy Curd, and then Lemley and Grind on the other side for Virginia Tech. All we've seen so far is an absolute war of attrition. It's like last woman standing is going to win this series at this point.
Well, this is the kind of game I loved to play in because you've got velocity coming out of the circle with a rise ball pitcher more likely than not in there throwing at you. So you have the potential for the long ball no matter who is swinging.
Does seeing this type of offense early, though, if you're a hitter on either team, take some pressure off your shoulders?
I mean, I wasn't a pitcher, but my job was to put runs on the board so my pitcher could feel relaxed in the circle, to be able to make those miscues, have those mistakes, and still be okay knowing there was run support behind.
As a hitter, though, I would imagine, seeing your team have success so far early on, it's not like it's 0-0 going into the 5th, and you've already seen 6 combined runs in 4 outs.
That's a nice fastball, and it's low in the zone, but what happens is your eye gets tricked thinking that you're going to see a rise ball with velocity most times, so you will swing sometimes where you think it's going to be, and that's exactly what happened right there to Gold.
And the payoff catches the outside corner, and Jacob Agee punches out on a Gold for out number 2 in the first.
Well, and that's just a hard velocity pitch on the outside corner. There is not a lot of wiggle on this one. I think it's supposed to be a curveball, but it's just hitting a spot. Remember, pitchers' goals are to have speed, spot, and spin. That one had a little spin, but more likely that was just a great spot with velocity.
And then Torres goes back across the plate to the inner corner for strike 1 on Kelly Torres. And I would imagine if that outside strike is going to be called by Agee throughout the game, Grind is going to continue to attack that late in the count.
That's where I would live. It's hard to hit an oppo home run, so go ahead and just light up that outside corner.
Yeah, but if anyone in the NCAA can do it, it would be Duke's lineup as well as Virginia Tech, I guess. These are 2 teams that have some pretty prodigious power. Virginia Tech certainly centered around that home run. Duke is an all-around excellent hitting team, though, and they make it so difficult on opponents.
That outside corner, I think, is going to be a difference maker. If that gets communicated back to the dugout, you'll see an adjustment next inning, but this is where that pitch should live for now.
Second straight full count.
Well, and Alex, I can't predict the future, but if I'm in the circle, I'm throwing to the outside corner, and as a hitter, I'm looking to go the other way with this pitch.
Exactly what she did.
Athletes have a very visible platform. I'm so proud of these women who are using that their visibility and voices to be able to make a statement.
Kylie Aldridge with base hit to lead off Virginia Tech here in the second.
Well, as a player, I too felt the overwhelming pressure to perform for coaches and teammates, parents, teachers, fans, the media, and I battled that negativity that often felt overwhelming. So speaking up and asking for help isn't weak, it's actually necessary and empowering. Each life, each voice, and each one of us is needed. So I appreciate the way that each of these athletes is standing up for something so important.
Absolutely. Bunt attempt foul here with nobody out. Runner on first, top of the second. Virginia Tech leading Duke 4-2, coming off of a 14-5 win for the Blue Devils in Game 1. But this is an area that Duke has struggled this year, surprisingly. So good in Games 1 and 3, but Game 2 has been a bit of an issue in the ACC. Now 0-2 here on Rose.
You know, and when you're 8, 9, and 10 years old, you try to gain some momentum at the bottom of the lineup, but you can't do that when you step into a matchup like this, knowing that the bottom of every lineup you face is just table setters for the big bats that come around when the lineup flips back to the top.
0-2, a swing and a miss, and Rose is down on strikes.
That drop ball with velocity.
Duke 8-2 in the ACC so far this year. Let's take one more look at this.
Yeah, it's a drop ball, and it's out of the zone. That's one that you should be able to tell as a hitter out of the hand that it starts too low to be a hittable pitch. It's about tunneling, and it's that drop ball that tunnels well with a changeup that makes right devastating. But that pitch started out of the zone, so it shouldn't even have been a swing.
So back to the top of the order as Emma Ritter looks at ball one. Duke, after that win yesterday, 8-2 in the ACC. They're one game up on Virginia Tech, who is 9-1. But you look at the Florida State series at Louisville, which, you know, you would think potential for a sweep there for Duke, a team that is looking to win an ACC regular season championship. Both series, they lost game 2, bounced back to win game 3. So there's, I mean, something to be said, obviously, about the way that they were able to win the series, as that's over towards second for one on first, not in time, and they're now 2 away after the fielder's choice. But Jenny, the way you win an ACC championship in the regular season is you got to sweep some of these series, and that was really a big focus this week.
It definitely was. You want to make sure that you come out and not only do you win game 1, but you win the series in game 2. You don't create the rubber match in game 3. And so far, Duke has hiccuped in each of the game 2s of their last 2 series, realizing that Florida State, that was a pretty good series for them, the first time they'd ever won the series against Florida State. So in that one, you can say, okay, I get it. It was a tough opponent. It's the first time we've ever done it. But against Louisville, I think that was the one that Marissa Young, the head coach for Duke, said she thinks that they relied a little too much on their pitchers, maybe got a little too complacent in that second game of the series.
0-1 on Addie Green. Runner on the move, throw down to second, not in time. Emma Ritter is in there, her 20th stolen base in 22 attempts this year, by far leading the team.
Yeah, she is just absolutely so fast. But because of the rule change this year, this is a reviewable play. So they will take this to review to see.
Can't leave until the ball is released from the pitcher's hand.
And so what that indicates is that when the ball leaves Wright's hand, that Ritter timed it up correctly. She did not leave the bag until the ball left Wright's hand. That is something that has been challenged all across the country, but kudos to Ritter for doing that correctly.
So it is the 20th stolen base of the year.
she's just so good. She sets the tone at the top of the lineup. She's got power with 8 home runs. She's got speed. I mean, that is an all-around 5-tool player that every team wishes they could have at the top of their lineup.
Green bounces it in the whole right side. Nice play by Vega, just in time over to Tapia to nab.
Both of those matchups actually have new head coaches, with Lindsay Leftwich taking over at NC State and Megan Smith-Lyon taking over for the great Donna Papa at North Carolina.
And Donna Papa becoming a colleague of ours here at ESPN. Welcome to the family.
Well, and it's fun to see the changes that Lindsay Leftwich has already made at NC State. They had wins over Clemson, Northwestern, and South Carolina this year.
Francesca Freilich, line drive out to center, gloved by Ritter.
Well, the thing that I am so impressed by is that each of these teams that have new coaches have started making immediate impacts. While they have had good coaches in the past, sometimes that change in authority at the top can give a team new life, and that's what we're seeing for NC State and North Carolina.
The ball one to Sarah Goddard. After covering LSU for years, it is really awesome to see Lindsay Leftwich get the opportunity to be a head coach. I mean, it's been really the right-hand woman down there for Beth Torina for a long time. And, you know, we knew that she was capable of taking over a program, had to find the right opportunity. And I think she probably found it in Raleigh.
Well, and Raleigh was needing a huge just change of momentum. They had hit rock bottom, and Lindsay Leftwich is a home run hire.
Ball and 2 strikes now on Goddard. 3 in a row retired, going back to that first inning by Grine. Gotten 7 swing and misses so far. It's also one of those games that you have circled if you're Sarah Goddard. She's celebrating her birthday today. Playing on your birthday, Jenny, is that good or bad? Are you more amped up?
So my birthday's in March too, and it was always I just expected to be at the ballpark on my birthday, and it usually meant cupcakes after the game.
Hopefully cupcakes at the plate too. Do another.
No, those are
3-2.
cookies. You want cookies at the plate and cupcakes after the game, right? It's all about dessert, let's be honest.
That's for sure. We'll see another payoff here to Goddard. Out towards center for Ritter. 2 away.
Well, that last pitch seemed to take a little bit of time. We know that the action clock is being used all throughout the country. However, it is not mandatory everywhere for it to be visible on the field. So in the ACC, that action clock is not visible on the field, but it is in play and it is being kept track of by the third base umpire.
So I would imagine there has to be some sort of warning system in place there if the players can't see it on the field, although we haven't really run into too many problems yet, you would say. 1-1 now.
Well, most pitchers are understanding that they need to speed up their time in the circle, but it's not just a pitcher problem. It's also batter related too. That's why it's not called a pitch clock. It's called an action clock because batters can be penalized as well.
1-2 on Baker.
So from the time that the pitcher receives the ball, it is needed to be hands separated for the delivery to the plate within 20 seconds. The batter has to be back in the box within 10, and the pitcher has to separate her hands and move into her pitching motion within 20 seconds, or it will result in a ball in the count.
1-2 skied out to center, and Ritter will retire all 3 Blue Devils. Own on the Amina Vega 2-run bomb, and then nothing in the second inning for either team. 3, 4, and 5 for the Hokies in the third. Good bounce back from Jayla Wright in that second inning. She stranded a leadoff single, and that was it, then retired 3 in a row.
Another change that we see this season is that one-way communication that's able to be used by the watch. And so that is electronic communication that's only delivered in one direction. So it takes the place of the armband that we've seen in years past, where coaches would call out a 3 set of numbers. You see it there on the catcher's arm, but also the wristband gives the pitcher the opportunity to just look at one and go.
Jenny, what exactly is Jayla Wright looking at on her watch?
So every communication device has some different capabilities, but more often than not, it can say drop in, drop out, change up in, rise ball in. I mean, it's very simple. It is definitely not complicated, and it's used to cut down on time.
2-1 bouncer up the middle. Vega throws out Fagan to start off the third.
I was a second baseman.
It's not like calling a quadrant or something like that. It's
no.
really simple.
Very specific, and every team sets it up to be their own verbiage. But that play up the middle, I've got to give props to Vega. Not only is she able to cover the 3-4 hole with the dive and a drop over to first base, but look at the range she is able to cover up the middle and come up with a hard throw to get out Fagan. She is throwing great defense behind Wright today.
A very good defensive team in Duke. Fielding 976 coming into this game. Really anything 975 or above is pretty excellent. And definitely Vega up the middle along with Baker. And then, of course, Jennings in center field, which is a highlight reel type of center fielder. Really strong defensively for this team. And then we didn't even mention behind the plate. I mean, it's almost an embarrassment of riches when you've got either Kelly Torres or Francesca Freelick. They kind of split time back there, but Marissa Young, I mean, calls them both starting catchers.
Yeah, 2 starting catchers, both can swing it, both have 3 home runs on the year, and both very trusted back behind the dish, which gives both of them fresh legs because of the rest.
And down the stretch, you would imagine that's incredibly important when this is a team that's going to be fighting for their first trip to Oklahoma City.
When you talk to Coach Marissa Young, she says, we have a focus on Oklahoma City. This Team 7 knows that it's going to take everyone, but to be able to have 2 catchers back behind the plate who each pitcher has confidence in is so important, because now nobody has tired legs. You're able to trade each other out and stay fresh back behind the dish.
Slow roller to short. Baker, not in time. Stayed back on it, and Peck beat it out.
Peck says, so you know I can hit it out, we'll watch my wheels too. The way you get her out, though, is to charge this high hop bounce. Because the shortstop, Jada Baker, sat back on that play and did not charge hard through the ball, not only did it take some velocity off the throw, but it gave Peck time to get down the line as she waited for that second hop to get chest high to be fielded.
Nothing in 1 on Corey McMillan, who is more than capable of putting it out herself. 2 for 3 in last night's win, 2 home runs, or 4 RBIs. Now, last night's loss, that is, for the Hokies. She was really the bright spot in the lineup.
Yeah, huge transfer coming over from Radford this season to help out with those power numbers.
Up the middle for Vega once again. She'll apply the tag for 1. Not in time, though, to turn the double play. Michelle Chatfield Solo homer her first time up.
And with McMillan on first base, yes, Chatfield has to be the focus because she had a home run in her last at-bat, but you've got speed over at first base, which is something that the catcher needs to be aware of, because over there at first, McMillan is perfect in stolen bases.
Not going, and taken for ball 2.
And remember, this is the batter that had the call of sit back, and then she hit the changeup for the home run. So that communication from Young was probably, hey, we're okay. You can still throw it to her. Let's go right at this batter.
Really pounding down in the zone, though. The first 3 have missed. And Maya Luco is on deck. There's McMillan, great speed, perfect on 12 stolen base attempts as Luco waits. On the ground once again, the Gold. And that'll do it in the top half of the 3rd inning.
Well, and Wake Forest started the year as #1 in the country. Right now, Duke taking on Virginia over on the other side of campus. Virginia, one of those teams that took down Wake Forest early to push them out of that #1 slot.
Deanna Jennings, the #9 hitter for the Blue Devils, dropped down recently from the leadoff hitter to the #9 hitter, but many would consider that a second leadoff of their own, and it's got to be nice that Marissa Young has enough faith that she can do that and still expect some success. So it's Jennings, Tapia, and Davidson for the Blue Devils here in the 3rd, trailing by 2.
Well, and so much speed up at the plate, and because of that, the defense will respect her and crowd her.
Topped it just foul.
Well, knowing that Jennings is one of those tap and go kind of players, the defense is crowded right in her face. So she's going to have to use the ground in front of home plate to get a high hop to allow her time to get down the line. But she also has to be aware of keeping her feet in the box, something she's been susceptible of being called out on all year.
Off the end of the bat, Brian's got to be quick. Just in time to get Jennings, the preseason All-American.
You'll see a lot of teams that have these really strong slappers in their lineup. They roll the area in front of home plate to give themselves a chance to drive the ball and get a higher hop. The home plate umpire actually threw his arm out. He saw that Jennings was out of the box with that contact, so she would have been out even if she had been able to beat out the throw at first base.
And so now that'll bring up the top of the order in Giselle Tapia, who's 0 for 1. That is gloved by Rose. Not in time, though. Nothing she could have done after really impressive work just to get to it.
I love defense, and that right there is just a sharp hit ball back up the middle. Past Grind, and so much range by Annika Rose. Could not get off a strong throw, but remember, Annika Rose was not the starter at short to start this season. Rachel Castine was the starter there, but got hurt back in February, is still day-to-day. They're hoping to get her back in the lineup. So far, Annika Rose really holding down that shortstop slot well. That one was just too hard to hit up the middle to be able to get a play off.
Claire Davidson now 1 on and 1 out. Looks at ball 1. Pete DeMoore calls Ani Rose one of the best defensive shortstops that he's ever coached. Even though Rachel took the spot in the fall, it's not like she wasn't right there in the battle, and they feel really confident, even though she's a freshman up the middle.
Well, defensively is not the issue. They know that Annika Rose can do exactly what is needed with her glove. The disconnect for them is that they're missing the bat of Rachel Castine in the lineup. She had 3 grand slams in 8 games at the beginning of this year. I mean, she was so impactful in the lineup. So it's not that Annika Rose is not an amazing shortstop, but just a freshman, it's taking some time for that bat to get hot.
You do really lose a lot with Castine. There's no doubt about it. Her numbers this year are just, I mean, only 9 games played, but she was 10 for 19, 5 home runs, and 18 RBIs. Double the amount of games played. Two-one tagged, out to left. Park will hold it. Green backs up to make the play, 2 outs.
And that's well-hit ball out there to the outfield, but when you don't square it up, the ballpark will hold it. It is only 190 to the corners, but you have to still poke it pretty good. And with this ball on the outside part of the plate, she doesn't let the ball travel far enough to be able to barrel it up enough to get it out of the yard.
Grind trying to work through this dangerous part of the lineup. Vega got jammed a little bit, punched into left field for a base hit. Tapia has to hold it second, but Vega is 2 for 2. That's her 4th hit of the series already.
Well, that kind of contact shows you that Vega is just strong, because she got so jammed up on that hit, but was able to find enough grass to be able to get, not only advance the runner, but get herself on. I mean, she gets jammed up on this pitch and strong enough to be able to throw her hands inside to get enough barrel on it to punch it out there.
Hannah Gold fouled it right off of Aldridge behind the plate. First time the runners in scoring position here for Duke. Their 2 runs came on 1 swing of the bat from Vega back in the first inning. That was the first time that they have threatened.
Well, that is a
professional
hard
courtesy there from Jacob Agee, making sure that Aldridge is okay.
But look at that, right off the bat. I mean, right off the bat, you get nervous, but she looked up, gave a thumbs up. She said, yeah, I'm okay. Definitely got to keep an eye on her, though, because that was a tough shot to the face.
That's why you wear that hockey-type mask. Gives you a lot of protection rack there, as opposed to, you know, the old school backwards helmet with the mask with just the strap. And
all right, you got to call it the right thing. It's a skull cap. Come on.
Skull cap. Okay.
There we go. There we go.
Modified helmet, skull cap. You're right. 1-1.
You have to realize I played baseball too, so I'm gonna hold you accountable to all those
You're
things.
not wrong. You know, I haven't thought about a skull cap in a long time.
but that hockey-type mask is an important piece, because it's a one-piece helmet that gives you that chest and neck protection.
There's Rose, collects and fires. And so Duke, obviously, yesterday was a day that I'm sure you would love to forget. What was the message to the team bouncing back, trying to win this series?
Well, we're a good team, and I think the first couple innings we did some uncharacteristic plays that we haven't done all year. So you can't really dwell on it. It's one game, long season, and let's try to get them tomorrow.
Well, and in the circle, you know, Lindsey Grind is so good. What are you liking out of her here today?
Yeah, she's throwing hard. She's spinning it, getting ahead. You know, she's throwing well right now.
Pete, thank you for the time. Always appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
Coach, last 2 of the 3 years taking this team just 1 game shy of the Women's College World Series. Right now, with how the ACC is shaping up, certainly you would say if Virginia Tech's able to win this series against Duke and bounce back and win the final 2 in Durham, they would be the favorites to win the ACC regular season with the way that the schedule shapes out. But I almost think this might be the most well-rounded team in the ACC this year.
I think both of these teams in this series are my favorites to win out, knowing the way that each of these teams is playing. So right now you've got 1 and 2 playing each other here at the very beginning of the ACC schedule. But when you look down that lineup, Virginia Tech does not play Clemson or Florida State. And so because of that, they've got an easier path to the end of the season to be able to stay on top.
Joanna Harden's Cavaliers are certainly going to make a push, I think, towards that number 6 spot. I think they'll end up finishing a little bit higher as Jayla Wright changes out some electronics. We talked about that watch a little bit, that wristband, and making sure that it is ready to go. Gives her the right signs, and it's fixed. Ball 1. Jenny,
Technology
who's the most complete team right now in the ACC? Who has the best chance to make it to Oklahoma City? It could be more than one team, though, of course.
I like both of these teams that we're seeing here tonight. I really like the way that Duke is pitching and throwing in the circle. But having these types of games in the middle of your season gives you lessons that makes you stronger, that gives you opportunities to attack weaknesses that you maybe didn't know were going to creep into the story. And so by being able to be tested early on, you're able to be a lot stronger by the end of the year.
1-2. Any team that you can remember playing in the regular season when you were at Arizona that really tested you, that gave you those lessons?
Well, you have to remember when I played. So I played at Arizona in the 90s. That team would be UCLA, and that seemed to be who we faced down the stretch throughout Pac-12. Well, it was Pac-10 back then, and now it's not even going to be a thing next year.
Luco down on strike swinging.
And that drop ball we know is going to be the pitch. Look at that tight spin. I love the way that she throws this pitch, but that ball starts out of the zone, out of the hand of Jayla Wright. She does not throw with commanding velocity, but she is getting a ton of swing and misses on that drop ball pitch. It's actually top 10 in the country on whiff rate.
The last 8 balls in play off of Jayla Wright have all been on the ground. Really, all they have to show for it, an infield single with 1 out back in the 3rd. Wright has given her team a chance to win this series. We'll see if her bats can pick her up, though, in the bottom half of the 4th. Aldridge did not start yesterday's game behind the plate. Instead, that was the freshman Zoe Yeager, who struggled defensively at times. So they'll go to Aldridge today, who's 1 for 1, single back in her first at bat in the 2nd.
So we talk about the velocity that Jayla Wright is throwing with. We know that she does throw upper 60s, but what we're seeing in the stadium is she's throwing 70 miles an hour on that drop ball here tonight.
Everyone bringing it to another level here with this massive ACC series in Durham, and there's a 1-out knock for Aldridge. She's 2 for 2.
Yeah, Aldridge seeing the ball well down here in the 8 spot for Duke. And if you can square up a drop ball and just drive it hard back up the middle, you're going to have a good chance of being able to bust it through your defense because it gets on top of them so quickly. With the velocity that Wright is throwing plus the velocity of your swing, that ball gets through to the grass pretty quickly.
And you could see, Jenny, that one didn't drop as much as the others, and because of it hung up at the knees, and Aldridge able to get on. Number 9 hitter, Ani Rose.
I would much prefer to hit against a drop ball pitcher than I would against a rise ball pitcher because a rise ball pitcher makes me look silly. A drop ball pitcher, I felt like I could move up in the box even with the kind of velocity that Wright is throwing with. I felt like as a hitter, I could move up in the box and catch that break or catch the pitch before its late break.
Two and 0. To me, it almost feels like, Jenny, like the same thing as trying to catch a wave before it breaks. You move up a little bit, and then you can get it at the crest and not when it's going to drench you.
I'm the Cali girl. You're the New York guy. How in the world do you know about surfing?
I've done my own boogie boarding in Rhode Island at times, you know.
Nice. And that outside corner we know is a difference maker. We've seen both sides use it tonight. And so Jayla Wright showing command of that drop ball, bringing it back just a hair to be able to get the called strike.
And now 2-1 on Rose. Aldridge on first for Virginia Tech. Tying run at the plate here in the 4th. Rather trying to add to this lead. Duke trailing in this one 4-2. And now it's 3-1.
Jayla Wright has 4 complete games on the year. However, when you talk to Coach Marissa Young about her pitching staff, she says all 6 are ready to go. Each of these pitchers embraces what each other does well, and they are willing to pass the ball. So being able to go complete games, definitely in the wheelhouse of Jayla Wright, but this pitching staff is ready to support her if she needs help from the bullpen.
Stay alive. Jenny, what is Jayla Wright accomplishing when she puts her glove all the way out towards the first base dugout?
It's nothing more than resetting her mentality. It is nothing mechanical. It has nothing to do with anything she's doing in her pitch. It's more just a routine, and she does it to reset and refocus on each pitch.
Got her! Another fantastic drop ball, and Rose is down on strikes. 4th K of the game for Jayla Wright.
This ball down in the zone, and granted, I've never stood in and watched the pitching of Jayla Wright from the batter's box, but this one starts so low that it doesn't look like it's hittable out of the hand of Jayla Wright. But with the kind of velocity she's throwing with, she is getting a ton of swing and misses. She's got 2 strikeouts on that pitch this inning.
Rose couldn't lay off, and now 2 away for Emma Ritter. Left it down in the dirt. Yeah, I certainly think that Rose helped her out with that pitch starting below the knees, but enticing nonetheless. Aldridge still on first. Ritter is 1 for 2 with a triple to lead off the game.
Not a lot of speed over at first base. Aldridge does not have a stolen base on the year. I would typically like to see a little bit more of an advancement on the runner at first with a dirt ball. You want dirt ball reads to be something that your team works on, but not a lot of stolen base threat over there at first.
Drive into center, and it hangs up for Jennings. The start that Jayla Wright was looking for, but she's really settled down. What's been the difference for her on that drop ball?
She left too many balls over the plate, and Virginia Tech will make you pay. So she's making some adjustments of getting down and getting it off to the corners.
They will make you pay, but you guys are making them pay right back. That Amina Vega home run, a huge statement in the first inning. What are you liking about your offense right now?
We just have to continue to hunt our pitch, not chase out of the zone, and make things happen.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Marissa Young and Duke looking to win this series against Virginia Tech, one that is in the Hokies' favor in terms of the all-time series. 9-6. Duke won last year's series 2-1. They took the first 2 games in Blacksburg, and then the Hokies were able to salvage the final one, hoping for a repeat this year, if not better. But currently trailing by 2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Flared out towards right. And a nice backing up catch by Fagan. 1 away.
I played second base in college too, and that is one of the most difficult plays to make because you're not the priority on that ball in the air. You are going back as hard as you can, but you're listening for your outfield to call you off. But you know that those little flares are probably going to be yours. So you go back tentatively with the glove, knowing that you could get called off. Nice play by Fagan.
1 away for Freelick. Lined out hard to center field to start off the second. Fourth inning of work here for Lindsey Grind. And I'm not sure if you're Pete DeMoore, you could ask for much more than what you've seen from Grind. Come back after a tough pitching night. Try to steady this rotation, give them some length. Check all those boxes.
Well, Grine is a trusted arm in the circle. She had over 100 innings pitched last year, combined with Emma Lemley's 200 innings pitched. This year, she and Lemley have been very equal in those innings that they've thrown. They pair very well off of each other, but both of them rise ball pitchers by trade.
Pete Demore was even telling us we don't use terms like aces. You obviously would have said Keely Rochard is Virginia Tech's ace. And, you know, you could have said with Lemley last year for sure. But this year it has been a lot more divvied up equally. And I think it's paying dividends, too, because you're seeing each pitcher be able to really come into their own and get the type of innings they need in order to contribute once we get closer to postseason.
Yes, just a much more balanced approach. But the thing that he has in his favor is with Lemley as a junior, Grine as a sophomore, Mazzarone, who started yesterday as a freshman, he is setting himself up for the future.
Three balls and 2 strikes. The 4 through 9 hitters tonight, nothing for 8. With a couple of strikeouts. Get some production from the middle and bottom of this lineup. They'll get a walk here. First given up by Grine. She did hit Claire Davidson, who came around to score in the first inning on Vega's 2-run home run.
And when you look at the way that Lindsey Grine has been able to keep her walks down this season, she's actually ahead of her free pass number of a year ago. She had 42 walks in 111 2/3 innings a season ago. This year, that's walk number 26 in just 60+ innings.
Sarah Goddard. Got underneath it. This one's on the infield. Peck calling the catch. And 2 away.
When you've got that rise ball pitcher, you have to attack the top of the ball. That one, she swung at where it started rather than where it rose to, and because of that, an easy pop-up over there to Peck.
It's been fun to watch these two, you could call them aces, even though nobody on the teams is going to. I mean, these are 2 preeminent pitchers in the conference, and to watch them battle their contrasted styles, with Wright working down in the zone. Grine wants to throw that rise that you swing underneath. It has really been an enjoyable battle here in Durham.
Well, and
finally a beautiful night for softball, too.
Oh, no doubt. It rained all week, but this night is absolutely picture perfect. I actually talked to Michelle Smith today to talk to her about what it takes to throw a low rise with great break. She says it really is hard to be able to throw that pitch consistently throughout a 7-inning game.
Popped up for Peck once again. And so just that 1-out walk for Freelick. And Virginia Tech will try to add on to its 4-2 advantage. Let's go. Of work will face the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Hokies. Addie Green, Cameron Fagan, and Bree Peck as they look to add on to their 2-run lead. Alex Perlman, Jenny Dalton-Hill back with you here for the middle game of this 3-game set.
And this part of the lineup, very dangerous for Virginia Tech. Expect to see Jayla Wright keeping the ball very low, maybe down under the hands. I would like to see her challenge these big hitters with the drop balls on the inside part of the plate, knowing it's hard to attack that pitch and send it out of the yard. Perfect spot. It's like I knew, right? I mean, that pitch on a heavy hitter, that was kind of the kryptonite to my swing, because I could not attack that pitch to elevate and get it deep. It was usually a foul ball.
Ball and a strike on Green, looking for her first hit today. I wasn't really aware that you had much of a kryptonite, Jenny, at the plate.
Well, seeing as it's been almost 30 years since I played, it's probably okay for me to give away those secrets now, right?
Nobody's going through the scouting report?
Nope. They're etched on a wall somewhere because there was no technology back then.
It's like hieroglyphics. 3-1 now.
That's right. No drop ball to JD. Yeah, that was about all it said.
Stone carving.
That's right.
3-1 on Addie Green. Cameron Fagan and Bree Peck all do here, trying to add a little bit of breathing room for Lindsey Grine. Tomorrow, an ACC lacrosse double
Count, so good change of speed, very similar to what Jayla Wright throws in the circle.
Walker came in last night in game 1, earning the win in relief after Cassidy Curd started. Gave up just a run on a hit in 2 1/3 innings.
And in scouting Lily Walker, it's almost as though it won't be as evident to a lefty because they'll be able to see arm side, but she has a hidden delivery for those right-handed batters with the way that she closes her hips.
Cameron Fagan lifts it out to center field. Long run. Jennings got there. Not much she can't get to out in center.
So much speed that is able to cover a ton of ground. So valuable out there in center because of those wheels.
So quickly 1 away now. And here is Peck. She faced Walker 1 time yesterday and grounded out to first base. Yet to be retired here tonight, though. 3-run homer in the first, infield single in the third. Bouncing ball to third, Gold, second one, on to first, not in time. I'm not sure it's possible to turn 2 on Peck. And she's
No,
on
not
after
with
the fielder's choice.
Not with those wheels, Alex. You're exactly right. And she gets around an outside pitch. Because of that, it's more of a weak ground ball there to third. So much speed down the line, able to beat out the double play attempt.
And that was hit pretty hard over to third also. Here is McMillan.
And that curveball that you're seeing from Lily Walker has been 2 years in the making. It is a pitch that she has been working on to develop, to try to expose that outside corners to lefties, also the inside corner to the right-handed batter.
McMillan had a huge night in game 1. 2 home runs, 4 runs driven in. Looking for a first hit here tonight. Left side and through. First and second and 2 away as Virginia Tech continues the threat here in the 5th.
And knowing that there's a ton of speed over there at first, that can sometimes pinch your shortstop up the middle to try to cover up second base with a lefty up to the plate. Did a good job of punching it through that exposed 5-6 hole.
And this lineup never eases. Here is the freshman, Michelle Chatfield. Jammed her. Shallow left. And there is Baker. A sigh of relief. 8 swing and misses so far for Lindsey Grine, and that pitch just outside to Deanna Jennings. Or rather, Amaya Burgess pinch hitting for Jennings here. Giving it back to the freshman and try to get the leadoff on here in the 5th. Duke won yesterday. Impressive fashion at that. 14-5 run rule win in 5 innings. Different story so far. Burgess to left for Green. One away.
I like that opportunity, though, for Burgess to give her a chance to swing away. She's got over a 300 batting average, 48 at-bats on this season, but coming off the bench, definitely hard unless you've been staying engaged all game long on what the pitcher's throwing and your timing is ready to go.
13 outs in this game, 8 of them in the air against Duke for Lindsey Grine, and that's really the MO. Jenny, we have seen the game plan executed extremely well. I mean, save for that 2-run home run for Mina Vega, basically nothing.
Yeah, and that was just a ball that got left big. Your job as a hitter is to hit a mistake. And with Grine in the circle, she's going to make mistakes. She's not going to be perfect. But the difference is, as a hitter, you've got to be ready to capitalize on the mistake. Meaning, toe touch has to be down in time. Swing has to be able to get off every single pitch.
0-2, topped over towards second for Fagan for out number 2. That time Tapia actually did get on top of that, hit it hard, but right at the second baseman.
And with those flyouts, you know that kind of information is being kept in the dugout. And so the information with the ball being in the air, you know you've got a rise ball pitcher. You've got to start making those adjustments and think about hitting the top of the ball and not the bottom.
Claire Davidson now with nobody on and 2 away, bottom 5. Starting to get later and later here in Durham.
We saw so much emotion in that first inning. The 4 runs put up by Virginia Tech, the 2-run response by Duke, and since then, it's been a pitcher's duel.
It really is interesting because it just shows you, I mean, how great a game softball is, right? You have 19 combined runs in game 1. You have 6 combined runs in the first inning. And then, I mean, we are almost through 4 more with zeros every single time. "15 total bases in the first inning. We've seen 6 since then.
And if you remember, Claire Davidson has been a pitcher for Duke for a bunch of seasons. This year, not a pitcher. Her ability to have great plate awareness is enhanced by all of that time she spent in the circle.
And she looks at ball 4. And
not only was
could
she a
that be
pitch-
with Vega coming up?
Yeah, so huge, because in one swing of the bat, you know this game could be tied up. But when you think about the way that she can swing it, she did damage in the first inning with this ball that got left belt high right down Main Street. She knew off of the swing that she was going to be able to just take it for a trot. No need to sprint that one out.
And a trident plant at that. Perfect flip to her. Just a well-executed celebration in all senses. 1 on and 2 outs. Tying run at the plate for Vega. To right field. It's out of here. We are tied. 4 runs for the Blue Devils. All of them off the bat of Vega.
Another perfect trident toss for the second home run of this game for Vega. I mean, the first home run she hit was probably a sugar cookie. This one, chocolate chip, because that one was so sweet. Absolutely crushed. Great response by McMillan out there and right to try to grab it, but no chance. Vega is on fire. That ball was tattooed.
2 in the 5th. And we are knotted up. 2 mistakes in this game out of the right hand of Lindsey Grine, and Vega has made her pay both times.
Well, and Alex, how important was that walk to Davidson? Without Davidson's plate maturity, staying off the balls that were off the plate, draw the walk, and give Duke the opportunity to tie it up.
That is an absolute rocket ship out towards left, but pulled just a little foul.
Okay, Alex, there maybe have not been 2 farther hit balls at this stadium than Gold's foul ball last night and that foul ball there. I mean, she is seeing it well, but pulling it foul.
Bouncer over towards third and thrown over to first by Gout. Into the circle for her first full inning of work. She is going to face a pinch hitter here. Trinity Martin comes in for Virginia Tech to hit for Maya Luco, who has had 4 strikeouts in this series. So Pete DeMoore looking for something else off his bench here. Ripped up the middle, holds up for Jennings.
Being able to read that hit off the bat is so hard. To be able to figure out, do I need to go back? Do I need to come in? Well, Jennings reads this so well. She knows she's got to bust it to get in on this hard hit right back up the middle. Talk about a pinch hitter ready to deliver. She was right on time, but delivered right to Jennings' glove.
Kylie Aldridge has not been retired. Got the start behind the plate here today, and she was 2 for 2. But we're going to see Aldridge get a chance to try to get Virginia Tech the lead once again.
And Aldridge had a slow start to the year offensively. She's barreled up balls, but had them right at people. This has been a great breakout game for her, going 2 for 2 on the night.
You're seeing why Duke is such a complete team. They have so much power in this lineup. Not necessarily when you look at it in terms of home runs compared to Virginia Tech. Of course, they are going to jump off the page. 69 of them coming into this game, and with 2 more today, they're up to 71. But it just never relents. And then you throw that pitching in there with Wright, and you bring Walker out. Cassidy Curd started last game. I mean, those 3 can really get you through a season and potentially win you an ACC regular season championship.
And in talking with Marissa Young, she said all of the years that we've had have taught us lessons to get to this point now. And she tips her cap to all of those players that have come before to get them to this spot.
The Nothing But Net crew, as you covered tonight, with highlights and a complete break, can only find on one place right here on ACC Network and the ESPN app.
How's your bracket doing, Alex?
Not very good. not amazing. I have to be completely honest with you. It has not been a banner year for the old bracket, men's or women's. But, you know, there's always next one. My national champion's still in it, though, so I guess there's always hope.
Do you fill out a bracket for the World Series?
For the Women's College World Series?
For Women's College World Series.
No, I like to just watch.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, I'm challenging you this year. You and me, we're going head to head. Yep,
that's
we're
fine.
doing it.
That's fine. I'll take you down. I don't have a problem with it.
Bring it on.
Such fighting words here. 0-2 on Kylie Aldridge, or rather on Annika Rose.
See, I'm even pulling you out of your game right now. That's right.
Very clearly. Got me focusing on my bracket. I didn't go with UConn like everybody else did, though.
There you go.
I have them in the championship, and then I think it might be Houston's year. We'll see.
Wow.
But ACC has done some incredible work through the first 2 rounds. Over towards second, that's a foul ball. How about what Clemson has been able to do in getting all the way to the Elite Eight? That was certainly unexpected. You know, only 6% of brackets on ESPN's Tournament Challenge had that result.
Yeah, I was not part of the 6%.
Neither was I, so you don't have to feel too bad. Ball and 2 strikes. Weighted back on it, foul ground, first base. And there is Tapia squeezing it for the second out.
And the reason that is a pop-up is because of that nasty change of speed. I tell you what, to be able to face Lily Walker, you have to stay in your legs so well. Because if you find yourself getting too far out in front, you're going to get this result right there. You're going to have to punch because you're out on that front side. A lot of times it gets that nice little pop-up.
Top of the order for Ritter. The first 2 hitters in this Hokies lineup, the last that have not faced Walker yet after she came in to relieve Jayla Wright in the 5th. Ritter did see her last night and walked.
Well, and the change of speed, while difficult to adjust to when you're used to Lily Walker, think about the velocity that Jayla Wright was throwing with the last time Emma Ritter came to bat. 70 plus, and now you've got to hit a changeup floating in the mid-50s.
How do you make that adjustment?
It truly is all about staying in your legs. If Lily Walker can get you to get your weight shifted forward, she wins, because it's hard to keep your hands back as your weight shifts forward. So as a hitter, you've got to think about staying back. You're going to hit fast and react change, because if you're looking for changeup, her fastball or drop ball will be by you before you can get your bat off your shoulder.
And a 4-pitch walk to the leadoff hitter, Ritter.
Well, and when you think about it, Alex, she's now given up more walks this inning than Jayla Wright did in the whole outing that she had. Jayla Wright was lifted after 1 walk, and now a visit to the circle after the 2nd walk given up by Lily Walker.
So first and second, 2 outs. Walker trying to keep Virginia Tech off the board and get to this bottom of the 6th, try to get some runs for Duke, and then win this series. Sarah McNally's going to come in and pinch run. In for Aldridge. Addie Green looking for her first hit. In fact, in this series, she's nothing for 5 so far.
So much home run potential in this lineup for Virginia Tech. When you look at the way that this lineup is set up by these hitters, there is home run potential from top to bottom. You've got 2 hitters with double-digit home runs in this lineup. And every one of your starting 9 has hit a home run.
I mean, there are 7 that have 5 or more. Basically your entire lineup right there.
Nasty changeup. That is a difference maker. If she can continue to locate that on the corners, that is going to be a difference maker pitch for her. Velocity will be able to be lit up, but if she can continue to throw that tight spin on the changeup, that's the key. Tight spin fools the eye to make you think it's coming in with velocity.
0-2 on Green. Punched out towards center, and Jennings to her right hauls it in. Walker works into way in the middle game. Duke wins, they win the series. Kelly Torres starts off and takes outside from Lindsey Grind back in there for inning number 6.
And the reason you still see Lindsey Grine in there is because she took her off-season conditioning so seriously. She is able to throw 70-plus deep into games this season.
Hot shot to left, and the leadoff on for the Blue Devils in the 6th.
Kelly Torres has changed the way she approaches her swing this season. Last year had a big kick and a big stride. This year leaves that front foot down, opens up her hips, and is able to drive the ball with better timing. Look at that, no stride, quick to contact. Love the way that she's made that adjustment to be more successful this season.
As the first leadoff hitter to reach for Duke in this game so far. Went up in the zone on Freelick and fouls it away.
When you think about how deep you are in this game with the kind of velocity that Grine tries to throw that rise ball on, that low rise will be the pitch that sits flat. So you have to be ready to attack the ball that starts at the knee because it will be a hittable pitch.
Nicely executed bunt by Freelick. 3-4 on the putout. Sacrifice bunt moves Torres into scoring position, and she is the go-ahead run.
Typically, you tell your hitters to sacrifice strikes. This ball was out of the zone, but what a good job to be able to put the ball on the ground and not pop it up. She executed this sacrifice bunt so well on a pitch that should have been left as a ball to the catcher.
It was basically at her eyes. And now here is Goddard. Duke 0-for-1 with runners in scoring position tonight. Goddard a couple of fly balls so far.
Well, it's been the top of the lineup that's been productive for Duke. This bottom of the lineup needs to string some things together.
That's exactly what they do, up the middle by Goddard. Here comes Torres, and the throw is late. Duke leads, 5 unanswered for the Blue Devils.
Kelly Torres, that hitter that has been able to change her swing this year to be productive, and on a rise ball that is getting out of the zone. Great job by Goddard to stay on top, not elevate, drive it to the outfield, and give Torres an opportunity to give Duke the lead.
High fly to center. There is Ritter to squeeze it. Runner tags. Goddard going to third. And she's in there.
And on a routine fly ball to center field, you don't anticipate runners trying if the call stays the same.
So it's a good tag. And Goddard is on third with 2 away.
Pivotal moment for Duke right there. Aggressive base running puts them up on top. And Lindsey Grine focusing as she heads to the bottom of the lineup, trying to get out of the inning before they flip back over to the #1 hitter.
But you have to get through the preseason All-American Indiana Jennings. Goddard just 60 feet away from an insurance run, which would be massive because you've got 3, 4, and 5 due for the Hokies in Fagan, Peck, and McMillan. And with the way that they swing the bat, nobody needs to be on base for them to potentially tie this thing up.
Yeah, tons of swings, tons of power, and they're sitting right in their powerhouse part of their lineup when they get out of this inning.
Into left. What a catch by Green. She hauls it in, but Duke has taken the lead. The year could have had the biggest hit of the year as Cameron Fagan pops up the bunt and Walker squeezes it for out #1.
At this point in the game, you've got to make sure you're not pressing, and Cameron Fagan, who is so good with the short game, gets underneath this one. A drag bunt was a perfect idea in that situation as the first baseman, Tapia, was sitting back. But communication between Walker and Tapia spot on, and they get a great first out.
An easy one to get the reigning ACC Player of the Week, and here's Bree Peck. She's responsible for most of this scoring tonight for Virginia Tech. 3-run homer you saw back in the first inning. But the Hokies have been held off of the board in the last 5+ now by Jayla Wright and Lily Walker in the circle. Also looking for her second win in relief of the series. Ball and a strike on Peck. Corey McMillan is in the on-deck circle for the Hokies. Towards third, past the diving Gold into left. And the tying run is on with one away.
I mean, in her first at bat, Bree Peck did have that huge 3-run home run, but she has been able to put the ball on the ground and make things happen. That's the sign of a very disciplined hitter who's not trying for the long ball again, but just looking for opportunities to pass the bat.
Here's McMillan. Just had her first hit of the game last time up. And that was against Walker. McMillan drives it, right field, dunks in front of Goddard and gets away from her. Peck is at third, heading for home. Tied game. What a series here in Durham.
When you've got number 1 versus number 2, they're not going to go down quietly. And the way that McMillan was able to bust this one, she got so jammed up. But the power that she was able to put on that swing, busted it to the outfield, and then misplayed out there and right by Goddard, gives Virginia Tech an opportunity to tie it up.
This game giveth and it taketh away. Goddard gives the lead to Duke last inning. And there with the error, ties the game up for Virginia Tech. Now Chatfield. The go-ahead run in scoring position with just 1 out.
And you've got to be careful with that changeup because that's exactly the pitch that Chatfield hit the home run off of in the first inning. So while Lily Walker's coming from the other side, I have not heard anyone in the dugout tip off the changeup of Lily Walker, which is what gave Chatfield the advantage.
Runner goes, throw to third is not in time.
And
McMillan
that's the dirt ball
steals
read.
third.
Yeah, that's the dirt ball read I am looking for. In a team that wants to win, that's the kind of aggression you have to have on the bases. Great pickup with that ball in the dirt and the ability to put their wheels in motion. I mean, look at this. Reads it, takes advantage, slides to the back of the bag, and the throw nowhere near.
McMillan 1-1 on Chatfield. This could be deep enough out to left. Davidson has it. They're going to test her. Here's the throw. Got her at the plate. Jacob Agee didn't see either. And so the call on the field stands, and we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Well, in the way that the catcher was set up, Freelick did straddle the plate in front of it, but did get out of the way with enough time for the runner to advance, and so it took obstruction off of the board. And the throw and the tag, great job to eliminate the threat and get Duke back in the dugout.
But the all-important tying run did come in for the Hokies. And so Duke up to the plate here to try to win it in the bottom of the 7th. We're at the top of the lineup against Lindy Grime. Tapia, Davidson, and then the ever-dangerous Amina Vega. to stay in play down the third base line. It did, but Peck gave it her all. Couldn't come up with it.
I mean, that would have been the most amazing catch I maybe have ever seen if she was able to dive backwards and catch this ball. Great effort, so close to getting it. That's typically a ball that your shortstop is getting over to try to make the catch on, but the third baseman, Peck, tried to get there.
Tapia an infield single today. And now down in the count 1-2. You know, these are the reasons that if you're Marissa Young, you change your lineup a few games ago and you get Tapia this extra at bat, leading off an all-important 7th inning tied at 5.
I like the way that Tapia is approaching this at bat. Now, granted, as you get to 2 strikes, you have to protect the zone, but you've got to foul these balls off and try to hit them on the ground. It makes me nervous that as she fouls them off, they're catching air, because a pop-up into foul territory definitely not going to help anybody here.
And Grind's 101st pitch is ball 2. Just like what Pete Demore was telling us, showing really no signs of fatigue here in the bottom of the 7th.
And you wonder how much emotion plays into these pitches that are so far off the plate. Lindsey Grind has been so tight on the zone, and there is so much at stake in this game. They do not want to drop the series to Duke, and so much going into each of these pitches here.
Slow roller, Grind, flips in time. If she didn't get to it, no one was going to, and there's one away.
Yeah, there's no way to defend that. It has to be all about PFP. That practice by your pitcher has to come into play here. There's no need to go overhand with it, just a little shuttle pass over to the second baseman covering.
Fielder number 7, Claire Davidson.
So Tapia bounces back out to Grind to start the 7th. Here's Davidson, looking for her first hit today. Had a 2-run home run and a double in the opener for Duke, which, if you're just joining us, they won 14-5 in a run rule in just 5 innings.
And they are throwing very carefully to Davidson. They know the kind of bat she swings. She leads Duke in home runs. And as she steps in, they have actually put her on via the free pass 2 of her 3 at-bats tonight.
Well, you might be afraid of Davidson, but that would mean that you're terrified of Amina Vega as she comes up. Has not been retired. She's in the on-deck circle right there. Has driven in 4 of the 5 Duke runs.
And even if they do put on Davidson, Alex, I would actually intentionally walk Vega in this next plate appearance for her, knowing that she has been the difference in this game. Below her in the lineup, there's not been a lot of damage done.
So if let's say that Claire Davidson walks here, you would intentionally walk Vega to put the winning run in scoring position. That's how afraid you are of Vega, and how much you think that maybe Gold wouldn't be able to do that and, you know, come up with that big hit.
Vega has not gotten out tonight. 2 home runs and a line drive single. I'm not giving her the opportunity to walk it off.
All right, payoff coming up now to Davidson. Do it again.
Good plate protection by Davidson. That outside pitch, you do not want it to ring you up. That one's a little extended off the plate, but do not leave anything up to the home plate umpire. You take your future in your own hands.
Here's 7th pitch of the bat. Davidson also with a 5-game hitting streak on the line right here.
Great approach. Love the way that she is able to continue to foul these outside pitches off. But what happens is, as a hitter, you've got to be ready for the inside heat that can strike you out if you're not ready to get the barrel out in front.
And now we're going to have a conference here between the umpires. Home plate umpire Jacob Agee, first base Heath Walker, third base William Gomuluk. Something said by Marissa Young. Hope that everybody is on the same page. Seems that they are. And we'll play ball, 3-2. Just upstairs.
So for the third time tonight, they put Davidson on via the free pass and bring up the hottest hitter in Duke's lineup.
What a series. This is the player that you want up if you're Marissa Young, and the one you don't want to face if you're Lindsey Grine. Help the Hokies to put Lemley in here, but she's not warming up, and it is Grine's game in her hands.
I would expect this ball to literally stay off the plate for 4 solid pitches. While it may not look like an intentional walk, I believe 100% that this is an intentional walk.
Yeah, they are staying well away from Vega here.
So you will not write this as an IBB, but it is an IBB in your lineup, like on your scorecard. So, but that does not mean Vega should take any pitches off. Just like that, that's exactly what needs to happen. As a hitter who's being thrown around, you've got to be ready for velocity that gets left big. Love that Vega was ready for that pitch that got left over the plate. Just missed it.
Just up enough in the zone. 2 balls and a strike. The winning run, Claire Davidson on first for Duke. 2-1, ripped down the left field line, will go all the way to the wall. Davidson into third, and she'll stop right there. Vega's a supernova tonight.
Alex, do you doubt me now? I mean, that's what you're expecting out of Vega. Why are we throwing to her? She is a hot bat that can't be cooled down. That ball left over the plate. I literally would have thrown that ball in the other batter's box for 4 pitches. Put her on, don't let her hurt you. And now Duke just 60 feet away from walking it off.
First career 4-hit game for Amina Vega. And now with Anna Gold coming up and Kelly Torres in the on-deck circle, Jenny B. Walker.
I do not. I go right at her.
Gold is 0 for 3.
But based on where based on where Aldridge is back behind the plate, they're afraid of Gold. Gold has not gotten on tonight off of Grine. Why was this not the approach? Why was this not the approach against Vega? Why give her the opportunity and now we're going to do it to Gold? This Gold has not been as hot as Vega, and now they're going to put her on.
This is actually your intentional walk for Pete Demore, and so it means that Kelly Torres is going to come up. And I'm also wondering, I know that, Grine has gotten you through this game, but at some point, do you see what Lemley can do out there in the circle and just change up the momentum a little bit and change the eye level and, different types of pitchers? And maybe that makes a difference for Virginia Tech. I don't know.
When you think about the way that Kelly Torres has approached this season, though, she, as she steps in the box, has become a dominant contact hitter. And that's all you need right here. With 1 out, all you need is contact, and a run comes across for the win.
Just 1 out, and the winning run 60 feet away, which obviously means a walk ends the ball game. She has issued 2 in the last 3 hitters. Line drive, deep center field. Duke wins, and Duke wins the series to take down Virginia Tech in Durham.
What a goal comes through. Duke's win.
Huge come from behind.